Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Donati. Today, we are going to investigate common communicable diseases. Now that we know what pathogens do, we want to investigate the different kind of diseases. Here's an interesting fact. The top three causes of death in 1900 was pneumonia, flu, tuberculosis, and infectious diarrhea. In 2000, it was heart disease, cancer, and stroke. This sends a strong message that our medicine has made a big difference with regards to helping prevent disease from common communicable infections. With that being said, we still must learn to recognize the different diseases and how to stay healthy. Remember, germs are constantly evolving. There might come a time when we don't have medicine to help us. One of my main objectives is to teach you how to keep your immune system healthy by eating right, exercising, getting great sleep, and reducing stress. We now want to turn our attention to diseases caused by bacteria. Strep throat. Symptoms include a very sore throat, swollen lymph nodes on the sides of the neck, headache, and fever. As we go through these lists, you'll notice that a lot of the diseases have very similar symptoms. What I would do is pick the ones that separate a particular disease from the other ones. So in this case, anybody that's had strep throat knows that one of the symptoms is a very sore throat. Lyme disease, infected by being bit by a tick. Symptoms of Lyme disease include a red rash at the site of the tick bite, fevers, chills, and body aches. Bacterial meningitis, an infection of the fluid in the spinal cord and the brain. Symptoms of meningitis include high fever, headache, vomiting, and a stiff neck. Tuberculosis, a highly contagious bacterial infection of the lungs. Symptoms include fatigue, weight loss, a mild fever, and constant cough. Tuberculosis may not show up for many years after the initial infection. One third, and you heard me right, one third of the world's population is infected with TB, and nearly 2 million people die of TB each year. With all these diseases mentioned on this slide, antibiotics would help kill bacteria. But remember, it helps kill the good and the bad bacteria. Now we want to look at viruses, diseases caused by viruses. The common cold. This is probably the most well known disease that we experience. The most common cause of the cold is the rhinovirus. Symptoms include sneezing, sore throats, runny nose, coughing, chest congestion, fever, headache, and muscle aches. Most colds last 3 to 7 days, can be spread by direct or indirect contact. Influenza, infection of the upper respiratory system. Symptoms include high fever, sore throat, headache, and a cough. Similar symptoms of the cold, but is much more severe. Pneumonia, serious inflammation of the lungs. Symptoms include fever, chills, and difficulty breathing. Can be spread by direct or indirect contact. Can be caused by viruses, bacteria, or even fungi. Hepatitis is a group of viruses that infect the liver. Symptoms of the hepatitis include fever, nausea, pain in the abdomen, and jaundice, or yellowing of the skin. The most common type of hepatitis are identified as A, B, or C. Hepatitis A transmitted in human waste and is contaminated water and food. There is a vaccine. Hepatitis B, the virus can be transmitted in blood or during sexual contact. It can also be transmitted during tattooing or body piercing. If tools are not properly sterilized, there is no vaccine. Guys, this would be one of the reasons for me personally that I would not get a tattoo or a piercing. But again, each person makes their own choice. If you are going to get a tattoo, please make sure they sterilize the equipment. Hepatitis C, more severe than type A. Like hepatitis B, it can be transmitted in blood, during sexual contact, or during tattooing or body piercing. Hepatitis C is the number one reason for liver transplants in the United States. There is no vaccine. FYI, a vaccine is a way for the body to fight against viruses. Other diseases that are caused by viruses. Chickenpox. Symptoms include rash, fever, headaches, body aches, and there is no vaccine. Rubella. Symptoms include rash, swollen lymph nodes, high fever, headache, sore throat. There is a vaccine. Measles. Symptoms include fever, runny nose, cough, and rash. There is a vaccine. Symptoms include chills, fever. With the mumps, symptoms include chills, fevers, headaches, swollen lymph nodes. There is a vaccine. Polio. Symptoms include fever, sore throat, muscle pain, and paralysis. There is a vaccine. Whooping cough. Symptoms include fever, runny nose, sneezing, dry cough with a whooping sound. There is a vaccine. Mononucleosis. Symptoms include a severe sore throat and a swelling of the lymph glands. There is a vaccine. This is also known as the kissing disease. Pandemic versus epidemic. An epidemic is a high occurrence in a certain area. A pandemic is worldwide. COVID and the Spanish flu are examples of a pandemic. Emerging diseases are diseases that are becoming more common in humans. Diseases emerge because the disease becomes resistant to drugs, proximity to animals, lack of medical care, global food sources, and global travel. On a final note, here are some helpful behaviors you should practice to help you to avoid diseases. Number one, wash your hands several times a day, especially before eating and using the bathroom, or use hand sanitizer if running water is not available. Do not share items that can transfer pathogens, such as towels, eating utensils, cups, and hairbrushes. Cook and store foods properly. Meats should be cooked thoroughly. Keep hot foods hot and cold foods cold. Avoid close contact with people who are ill. Stay home when you are not feeling well yourself. Sneeze into your sleeve or elbow to prevent spraying germs onto others. Learn to manage stress in healthful ways. Get at least 8 hours of sleep each night. Eat well balanced meals. Do not skip meals. Exercise regularly, at least 3 or more times a week. Avoid unhealthful substances such as tobacco, alcohol, and illegal drugs. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the show.